Hi, why the fuck notters? We're here again with another podcast. With me, as always, is
Dwight
and
Aaron.
yeah. So it's been a long week for us, more or less. Dwight, how's your weekend been? I'm asking specific.
Lovely. It's been lovely. You know what? I had 4 days off, which is somewhat rare. Like, I don't usually get that much time off, but we were able to go camping, and we went to Falcon Lake. So a couple of good things happened this weekend. One, I got my first golf game in, which I haven't golfed yet this year. Yeah.
Okay, so you're are you
I'm
try go every year?
Well,
or?
I'm an avid golfer for
Yeah?
sure.
Oh shit, we need to golf. I love golfing. I just suck at it. I'm really bad, but I love.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You know, it's sometimes just to get out, right?
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
I usually I shot like a 92, I think it was. It was low 90s, so I don't know if that means anything to you too.
No,
no, I know, yeah.
nothing.
But it means pretty consistent golf, I guess, right? Like, I wasn't like a hack job. It wasn't too bad for the first time out. I was kind of happy with it.
What you were aiming for, you were more or less kind of getting to.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And then there, like, the last couple holes, we were kind of little wasty pants, so slowed down a tiny bit. Scores got a little bit worse.
That's where the people are behind you looking at their watches, like, really, like, fuck.
Pass through.
Come on.
We're gonna be in the
Just go ahead. I'm at the bush taking a nap. This is the 9th hole stretch. I get to sleep.
For a few minutes.
That's how I play golf.
It's halftime.
Halftime, yeah.
So other than that, I heard like
So
camping,
golf was
right?
really good. Camping was awesome. Well, so Christy's 7 months pregnant. So camping, it was kind of like I'm not sure how this is gonna go. I don't know how comfortable she's gonna be. So the first night, we set up all the tents. There was 4 tents to this one site, which clearly we weren't allowed to do. We ended up having to take down 2 of them, but we shared a tent with another couple. And I guess the whole synopsis of the story was Christy wasn't the most comfortable. It was pretty freaking cold out. So I didn't want to tell anyone this, but we kind of wimped out on camping in the last 2 days, and we stayed at the Falcon Lake Hotel.
Best type of camping there was.
But
HBO?
for 1 day, okay? The hotel was pretty grimy, so it was still
that was still camping.
So, yeah, it was still pretty rough.
They only had 3 channels. It
It wasn't very good.
The hot plate only went to medium. It was fucking kind of shit.
No baseball games on. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Well, that's nice though. That's a
it was a
decent
ton
weekend.
of fun. Like, but we still were like out. Like, we went for a canoe ride and we went for a long bike ride and golfing and campfire, and we still took the whole experience in of camping. It's just with a 7-month pregnant girl, she, comfort first.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Well, yeah, you gotta take those times, right? Like, be like, all right, let's make you comfortable. I guess I'll sleep in the bed too.
All right, I guess I'll sleep in a hotel.
And then they go, why not?
It was freezing that first night too. Like,
sleep
it
on
was
the ground.
so cold. It was good. You know what? We had a lot of fun. Campfires are always fun, which is going to bring me to a campfire story. The last time I went camping with a bunch of friends. So usually I'm a pretty not hyper guy, and okay, I'm going to take you back 6 years. Sorry, you guys look confused. I'm taking you back 6 years. Okay, this isn't this time. Taking you back 6 years. I went with a couple buddies camping. And obviously we're drinking and whatever. And one of my buddies, I'm sure we all have this friend who just prankster, doesn't really care, goofy guy, you know what I mean? Like, consequences are not thought of, you know what I mean?
You just do.
You just do. So, bears are a thing in Grand Beach. So 6 years ago now, we're camping in Grand Beach. I'm with this guy who's just doesn't care about consequences, an animal. And me, I know there's bears in Grand Beach. And I know there was an overpopulated bear population 6 years ago. Like that, there was an issue there. There's lots of bears at Grand Beach. And we all brought steaks and burgers, and it was near the end of the night. We're drinking, and we're kind of wasted. And he kept throwing his leftover hot dog bits in the bush.
Which is a really bad idea.
That's a smart idea.
And I told him the whole time, you know what? I'm going to name drop him. Travis. I'm like, Travis,
you motherfucker.
you motherfucker. I was like, you're going to keep throwing shit in there. Bears are going to come. He's like, you're an idiot. Kept drinking.
You're an idiot.
You're stupid. There's no
Bears
bears
don't
here,
exist.
whatever.
You're dumb.
Chucking stuff in the bush or whatever. And I was like, Trav, you keep doing that, the bears are going to come. He didn't believe me. Sure enough, 3 o'clock in the morning, he wakes me up. Dwight, wake up. There's a bear outside. Dwight. And I'm like, Travis, I told you, man.
Just calm
Just
as
so
fuck.
calm as shit. I'm going back to bed, but I told you so at least.
I knew shit was
I was
happening.
right.
And he kept cuddling up to me, really close. And you know what? I watched Survivor Man a few times and a couple of wilderness shows.
Immediately started drinking my piss.
Yeah.
So
I bear grilled the shit out of it.
So I made a fire in my tent. So I just started screaming, and this bear ended up running away. We had a few scratch marks and stuff on the cooler, and it was freaky enough for what it was. But I'm almost happy it happened. Just to teach a life lesson. You know what I mean?
Plus, I was right in the first
place. Plus, I was right, and I was like, see, I showed you at 3.
The whole time, yeah, like, this is where my mind went when you were talking about, like, oh, yeah, my friend that does this, like, he brought honey pots and he put them everywhere. Just like,
come here, bears.
Just trying to bait them out.
Yeah, exactly. So this time wasn't so bad. The people we went with were very cautious of bears. Even the dishwater, they were throwing, you know what I mean? Like, they take, like, a 2-kilometer walk to throw dishwater because there was some sense and remnants.
Yeah, just to keep them away from you.
Yeah.
That's probably smart.
Safety was first for sure. We had a lot of fun. I got to sleep in a hotel for a couple nights. Cool. I mean, I didn't realize, I feel like as you get older, camping when you're young is a blast. And camping when you're old is a blast. But sleeping in a tent when you're young is a blast, but sleeping in a tent when you're old is not so much fun.
Yeah, well, it's like lumpy and dysentery,
and
like
cold, and dysentery.
What the hell?
And the washroom, that was the big thing, right? For her too, was the washroom was too far away, right? So I'd be getting woken up at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
For people that don't know, pregnant people have like feet inside of their fucking bladder, like getting kicked.
Literally.
Like, I guess I gotta pee.
You got time to pee again.
Every pee's an emergency, basically. Like every single one.
Pretty much, yeah. You never know what's going to happen. So.
This needs to happen now.
Exactly. So, hotel was a better option, but we still got, like, the camp life out of it.
You know, I was talking to her earlier today. She didn't even... I was like, how was camping? She's like, it was great. That's all she said.
No one's going to be like, I went to a hotel.
Yeah,
Sounds like wussies.
Yeah, we went straight to a hotel. One day we were in a hotel. We didn't make it through the whole night. It was 4 o'clock. We went right to the hotel.
You know what? Yeah. Called the hotel 4 in the morning. Sleep in a room.
Hook us up.
Pay whatever you want. Just
this is bullshit.
This is bullshit. I'm tired of this.
This has hit a whole new level of bullshit.
This is why people get like RVs.
Soggy and stinky.
Well, yeah, RVs are sweet. Like
RVs are sweet.
Yeah, I'm getting old, but I would totally get one of those fucking things when I'm older and like fucking retire. Like,
why not? Yeah. That's your home on wheels.
Yeah. Oh, you can do anything. It would like just fucking sure it costs a little bit more in gas.
Here's the one thing I don't like about RVs and trailers is you got to drain the sewage out of it. And like I know it's not a huge deal for a lot of people, but like
just go up to random sewers with a hose and just be like,
I was
go to your neighbor's toilet.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was like,
run a hose through your bathroom.
It'll be okay.
How do you hook up internet to an RV?
I was like, that's your concern.
How can I do this? How can I get enough power in my RV to run my PC?
You're not. That's
sure
how.
I don't know. I'm sure
you'll be able to use your PC. You're just not going to hit the internet. You're going to have to hit Wi-Fi, like hotspots and shit everywhere you go.
You have to park outside Best Buy or something.
You got to do something. Get one of those sticks or whatever the fuck it is that gets you everywhere. The satellite fucking internet if you need. Like that's the only thing you can do.
That's living in the jungle.
Or you can play games like a pilgrim, like me, and play on my iPad.
Yeah, it's like a fucking just ancient fucking thing.
That's like interactive board games, man.
Which is still fun.
The iPad though is like I don't hate about it, but like I have Steve. I know. Hey, I'm sorry, I have one, Aaron. It was a waste of money. It was terrible.
but since I do have one,
I own one. I pay for one. I enjoy some of the games, but all the new apps like require a better like.
Yeah, it's cut off point, right? You can't get any more fucking shit.
So,
sorry, you need to upgrade.
Pac-Man, you know what I mean? Like.
Well, Pac-Man's fucking sweet. So
yeah, so it's no big deal, right? Exactly.
Yeah, you need to hook up Mrs. Pac-Man. It's way better than Pac-Man. Way better.
So my games are kind of.
Yeah, the patriarchy.
It's like that was camping, all right. I fucking got a high score.
I beat Final Fantasy.
I did.
That actually did happen.
In the hotel.
It was just like for 3 hours in the hotel room.
For Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Speaking of tablets, fucking. Do you know how hard it is?
Oh yes, I've heard this
get
story.
A refund from Google Play for $130 in an in-app purchase.
Yeah. Who does $130 in-app purchase?
Old
people. What did you buy?
I didn't buy shit.
Oh.
Is
story?
Yeah.
My mom has a tablet that I bought her, and for some reason, my fucking credit card is on there, and I didn't set up like the parental controls because I'm like, oh, I can trust my mom. She's not retarded. She'll be able to figure it out. And immediately,
I handed it to her, and it fucking charged me.
She came to me the other day, and she's like, oh, weird. She's like, I think I did something wrong. I'm like, what? What did you do?
I have
She's
7 extra lives on my game.
I needed to make it 8.
It's like this casino game where you're playing like virtual slots, and it's like There's no possible way you can win money.
Unless
fake coins.
Yeah.
if it was real where you actually gambled, you could cash it in.
Yes, and then
On fake fucking...
a couple days later, goes out and gambles, and it's like, what are you doing?
Do
Do you have no consequences?
Wait, so why would you ask for a refund?
You should ground her
She
from
paid
it.
the coins.
Just ground her
No,
from
she
it. Take it away.
didn't use the coins. She came to me immediately, and she's like, I fucked up. So I'm like, hey, we can reverse this, because in Google's usually good about this shit. If you buy an app, you have 48 hours, you can refund it.
But it's not the app you're trying to refund. It's the
an
fucking
in-app
easy.
purchase.
So you got to get that from the actual company that made the app, if you can get it.
So I've been trying to fucking email them, and like, there's some fucking company that makes apps that make money off people with gambling addictions, and it's like, they're not gonna give me my goddamn money back.
Yeah.
No, you may as well just start gambling with it, is what I'm trying to say. Like, just fucking give her.
No,
Chance
I'm
of
not gonna let her
returning.
do that.
Yeah.
I'm throwing out the goddamn tablet.
$130. I hope she played those coins then.
No,
She's
didn't.
it's sitting.
I'm
He's
not
trying to
letting
get.
her.
I mean, he's trying to get a refund
Fuck her.
Oh,
for a thing.
How many days has it been?
Sorry, Mom. Like 4 days, 5. No, more than that. Like 6 days.
It's kind of risky at this point. I don't know. If
You're not going to get the refund. I think you should just enjoy the
Well-
130
Yeah.
credits that you got.
It is
Yeah,
my
I think
right
so too.
as a Canadian
Let her have
citizen
some fun now.
to complain as much as I can to this developer.
Hand it to her, take your credit card off of it, and be happy birthday, Mom.
No,
That's what
I
you need to do.
refuse.
We're eating SpaghettiOs for next week now.
So like, thanks, Mom. I'm going to starve, but you go ahead and play Bejeweled for the next week and a half.
Yeah, so that was my week, and I'm working 12 days straight.
Yeah,
I'm stressed.
I was just about to say this week has been like crazy. My weekend,
Both these guys, it's probably my fault because
I
Takes 4
literally-
days off.
I literally worked 57 hours last week, and it was nonstop. In 14 days, I'm getting 1 day off. I'm a little tired, but I'm like optimistic and happy. Like, just super fucking tired in the middle of it. Like, yeah. Well, that one 12 hours and 45-minute days on Friday, that was crazy. I was like loopy by the end of it. I'm like, I just need to go home. Whatever, because you were getting your ass handed to you.
Yeah.
So I had to like jump online and help you for that table of 30 or some shit. It was just like crazy. So I'm like, I got to stop doing this to do this, and then I got to go back to do this again. I was exhausted by the end of it, but holy shit, that was it was been a long weekend. So
you know what, 12 hours in, like, I've worked jobs where I've done shift work, and 12 hours is not nearly as bad when you're working like a warehouse or you're working like kind of like a low-minded job.
Yeah, where you're just
In
like
a
moving
restaurant
stuff
or
around.
Hospitality industry, 12 hours is like
It's murder.
a long day. Yeah,
Standing in front of
it's
those
a hard
fryers.
day.
Constantly, it's hot the whole time. I think our air
I can
conditioning's
imagine.
fucked up. You know, like it's really hot back there, and
Got a
it's
fan blowing hot air back at you.
yeah, like it's the best we can do. But I mean, yeah, it's been a long fucking week. But it's nice to be able to sit here and have a conversation with you guys and not have to flip a
Let it
fucking
out. Let it
egg. Yeah, it's nice. It's really fucking nice. But
Did you do anything fun?
I flipped eggs.
That's always
That's
fun.
fun.
Boy, do I love flipping.
Actually, I bought a new game on the PlayStation Network. It is called Chronicles of Teddy.
Why did you point over there at all your?
Oh, I was
games?
thinking. Well, no, I was
Really,
like at the
it's in your
TV.
system.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
on the
okay.
system. I bought it on the PlayStation Network, and it's Chronicles of Teddy, where it's a mixture of like 4 or 5 NES games in one. Where it's like, it's like a side-scrolling like Link 2, if you know which that's
You,
the
I
side-scrolling
love
one.
that yeah.
It's like my favorite one.
Yeah.
But this is like a copy of that one. Like it literally has the same sort of title screen where they rip on it and stuff, and they go through. But it's really good. It was like $2, so solid game. It wasn't $130, but it was definitely worth the $2. Sorry to rub that in.
I hate you.
Oh, come on,
I
man.
think your mom just didn't want to wait the 24 hours to get her refresh on.
Yeah, probably.
She wasn't waiting the timeout. That's the thing. That's where
It's like
those games get you.
wait 24 hours or
Oh, look, this game is
$130
free.
and you can play it now.
She's like, I don't know
Your
what
life savings, and
happened.
You can play immediately.
I hit a button and it charged, and it's like, no.
You had to
very
hit 3
clearly-
buttons.
There's very clearly a confirm button.
There is.
There is like, hey, this is gonna charge you
multiple
real
things,
currency.
yeah.
They're like, would you like to use this credit card?
Probably-
Actually,
yeah.
yes, I would.
Yeah.
I think it says that. Actually, yes, I would.
Would you like to accept the terms and conditions?
She probably knew exactly what she was doing, and then was like, Aaron,
You're like,
knowing she couldn't reverse it.
like, if I just tell you about it, it's
You
okay.
can't be angry at me
So,
because I
it's-
told you.
It's what it is. It's a reverse of roles, Aaron. It's just, it happens. It's okay. It's okay.
It's not
you're gonna
okay.
forgive and you're going to give it to
Nothing
her.
is
She's gonna play
okay.
it. It'll be all right.
Eventually, you hit an age where now you're taking care of your mother. You know, and that's.
I've already
you
hit
just-
that age.
I
I hit that age like
Most
years
people
ago.
hit it at 24. It's
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Well, if you didn't know, this is Why the Fuck Not, where three guys sit around one table and we discuss random topics for your general amusement. Today we are running two pretty awesome topics that I'm actually quite looking forward to. And number one, we're going to be talking about nostalgia. Yeah, it kind of came to my head. I was just kind of thinking about it. Actually, I was in the car and I was listening to some Elton John music, and it just like hit me like an instant of like being in the back of the car of my dad's old fucking White Rabbit when I was like 4 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And mom like with the tape player. Yeah, we used to use tape players in cars. They didn't have CDs. You had to pop in a tape and it would fucking eat the shit out of it. Whatever. She'd have her Elton John playing on there. She bought it like 6 times because the car kept eating the fucking tape. But she still had it. It brought me right back to that of driving from my old hometown of North Bay out to like this cabin that my parents'
The feelings
moms
came with it and everything.
Oh yeah, instantly. Like it just brought me right back to it. So my question is like, what is the nostalgia for you? So like, what is the thought that you get when you're thinking like of the past? Like, what's your favorite moment that like you like to revisit all the time, and what brings you to that point? Because it doesn't necessarily need to be music. However, music, smell, and even video games and movies can get you into that point. So I'm kind of curious where you guys sit on this, and then I'll kind of talk about my own.
I wonder with the recall, like why it happens with some, like why can you remember some, even if it wasn't a significant event, like you driving, right? Like it wasn't even a significant event. Like I wonder why you can recall those kind of memories, but you can't others.
It probably triggers something in your brain. There's enough instances of something similar going on at once.
Well, some sort of chemical thing, like having a smell. Yeah,
that's what they say deja vu is.
Well, that was another question, is like kind of what is deja vu to people? Like I've very recently, within the past week, I had like a super heavy spell. Like I'm like, this exact fucking thing happened in this like this moment of this person that I don't even know walking that way, and you saying this thing. Like,
if you
what causes that?
Enough LSD. You will feel
everything
like
is deja vu. Everything.
Seriously,
it's been here before. You're like shitting on the toilet.
That is super weird.
It's weird because you can like speak what someone's about to say. Like it's fucking weird.
Okay, that's in your
universe theory.
That was my next thing. Is this a multi-universe thing? But back to the acid. When you like, I know what you're gonna say, and I'm gonna say it. Do you think maybe on the person that isn't on acid is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I wasn't even going to say that. And you're like, I totally knew what you were going to say.
Well, I mean, if two people are on
okay.
Well, it's hard because you can't, like...
It's suggestive at that point.
You can't, like... Because you're not seeing the future, right? Like, you can't, like, know what you're going to say. You just know when you say it.
Or are you? Or can you see the future?
Well, that's where the multiverse is happening,
Are we seeing the present right now? Or are we seeing maybe a couple milliseconds... Mind-blowing
time here. I remember hearing this theory a long time ago of when you have deja vu, you are reliving a moment that you fucked up on.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I've heard that when deja vu means you're on the right path in life. It means you're living the life that you're supposed to be living.
That's the complete opposite
kind
of
it.
Buddhist
monk?
Oh, he wasn't positive, okay?
His name was Dwight.
Mr. Positive.
I've always told you hear it, and then it's just, you're on the right path. It's like a reassurance. It's like...
I've never heard that.
I see, like, the one that I heard about that kind of blew mine was, like, you fucked up and you have to, like, redo it until you get it right. And then when you're past that...
What's that movie that they do that?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, the Bill Murray Groundhog Day. Yeah. They have a new one out that's like fucking Groundhog Day too, basically. But they're like, oh, it's not that.
It's
like,
not Groundhog Day.
There's war going on. I'm like, it's still fucking Groundhog Day. You wake up it's a Tom Cruise movie too, actually, where it's like a war going on or some shit.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah,
and he has to keep reliving.
Oh yeah.
I've heard it's a fucking great movie,
right.
but I can't get past Tom Cruise. Like, other than that, like
Scientology just puts me off.
That's what it is, and his crazy behavior.
In Scientology, you would like it.
Well, that's just it. Like, I like some movies from him.
I do know he's in Scientology.
I know.
Yeah, it's hard to look past. For me, it's the Katie Holmes thing when he was like on fucking Oprah's couch, jumping up and down like he was 14.
Yeah,
that was where I was like, okay, I'm checking out. Like,
he lost his mind.
Yeah, like Katie Holmes is like 18. You're like fucking 68.
Yeah.
Like, you probably shouldn't be doing this at that point.
Yeah.
And that kind of like threw me off. But like, even still, since then, I've seen some movies and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then the Scientology thing was like, it's still really difficult. It's a hard pill to swallow, but every now and again, I'll take the pill. Yeah, like that's kind of how I feel.
Let's go back to multi-universe theory because you guys both know what it is.
Oh yeah,
who can explain it well?
I've been watching a lot of documentaries on it. Quantum mechanics. Okay, so back in the early 40s, 50s, and 60s, the quantum mechanics was a science that was being tossed around. It was so heavily induced by math, like the math that's involved with it to prove their theories, was so intense that only a select few could really decipher it and get through it. Back in 1965, there's a man
Is that
named...
where every living thing has like the same pattern and the same?
Yeah, I'm just about to get to
Okay,
this. Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
go ahead. Okay.
So, like in 1965, this one man, his name's Hugh Everett, which is actually the father of the Eels lead singer, like from the band The Eels. Novocaine for the Soul was his song, but his dad came up with this theory when he was in college that challenged everything that everybody thought about quantum mechanics. And basically what his hypothesis went is that with every choice and reaction that you can make, every choice and reaction actually happens. So if Aaron's mom had the choice to push the button and cost him $130, in another world, she did it twice.
Damn it.
And in another world, she did it 6 times. But there is one world, not this one, sorry, Aaron, not this one, where she didn't say accept. And that's what the point of quantum mechanics is kind of like basing off, is this multi-world theory where any choice and reaction will happen. Yeah. And just this is the one that you're on, is you've made that choice and you're going this way. But in another dimension, this choice was made opposite to it. Yeah. So there was a choice that you did not come to Winnipeg, and you did not quit your job doing the good life or anything. You stuck to that, and you're in Edmonton, or you've moved on to doing whatever it is. Yeah, in another dimension. That's the idea of what it is. That's like really like fucking dumbing it down for people. Yeah. There's a lot more to it than that, and all this stuff is backed up by some pretty fucking serious math, like crazy math.
I've watched some of like the documentaries and stuff on it where it's showing like even there's that equation for like plants, like if there's, do you know what I mean? Like there's every living organism has the same mathematical equation to balance itself out.
You're talking about the Fibonacci sequence.
The Fibonacci sequence. Yeah.
Okay, well, what you explained, yes, that is one part of quantum mechanics.
Yeah, it's like one branch.
Quantum mechanics is a huge thing. It's a huge field. When most people talk about quantum mechanics, they're talking about like the dual slit experiment, and this part is where like if you observe something, you are changing it.
Yeah, that's Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah, they tried to prove that with the dual slit experiment, where there's a lot of good YouTube videos on it. I can't really explain it.
I can pretty easily. At least if I think this is what it is. I'm going to use a drawn doc like so that they can see, but at home, just try and imagine it in your head. Imagine there's a laser that is moving back and forth, okay? So if it's moving back and forth and it's going to point at this wall that's behind here, laser clearly is going to take that same path, right? So let's take a variable and put a square in front of this. What does your mind think is going to happen here with the laser and that wall?
Behind, it's not going to be...
Yeah, you're going to have a pattern over here and a pattern over here and a pattern over here. Like there's going to be these dots. And imagine this laser's pulsing, so it leaves a dot each time. They have taken this test, and for some reason, they're finding dots in behind this wall. And they can't figure out they couldn't figure out exactly why. But what it is that it's literally passing through, like almost like bending around, which is very strange to them. So this is what the slot is, and that's being observed. Now there's the theory, the Schrodinger's cat theory. If you haven't heard that one, very simple one, is there's a cat inside a box that if it eats this food, it's going to create a poison in the air if it eats this food. So this cat in this completely sealed box is both living and dead at the same time until it's observed.
Yeah.
And that's the idea of it.
It goes, you know that joke, Futurama joke. They're at like a horse race, and there's like, they say it's a quantum finish. They're tied by like a photon or something, and then the guy like looks through like a telescope to see who wins, and then Farnsworth is like, no fair, you changed the outcome by observing it.
Which is true.
Yeah. Which is quantum physics.
Yeah, and that's where you get that's also the idea of multiple universes as well. So now, back to nostalgia.
What this has to do with nostalgia.
Oh, I like the path we were going on.
Yeah, like that's like it gets super deep and super heavy. Actually, if you guys, it's on YouTube, World out there. If you get a chance, check out a documentary called Parallel World, Parallel Lives. It's actually the lead singer of the Eels doesn't know much about his dad, so he decides I think it's like 30 years after his dad's death, he's going to learn what his dad's theory meant. and it's a documentary following and chronologically going through what he is, and they explain the whole idea of the theory. It's super interesting.
It's not crazy to think of, because as we know, the universe is infinite, right? Like, we don't, you know, it's like in a black hole is another universe, which is in another galaxy, which there's another black hole, which there's, you know, it's infinite. It never ends. So, like, the thought of, like, another universe, like a multi-universe theory, I don't think it's far out there.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, no, I've always thought about that.
I mean, there's so many fucking weird theories out there that, like, is not proven wrong. Like, we're just a speck of dust on a person's shirt. You know, like, there's, if you, like, we're just that molecule. Yeah, like, it's all perspective, right? And then it's just constantly infinite. And that's where it goes with the black hole thing, right? Like, it's in and in and in. The further you look down, the more you're going to find.
Sorry to cut you off. No. My favorite theory on stuff like that is, I can't remember what it's called, but if you can think of a time where we could create a video game or something, a simulation so advanced that you don't know it's a simulation, how do you know we're not living in that right now?
The Matrix.
There was The Matrix, and there was a show just created about that, Westworld.
Yes,
that's basically what it was, and the whole like conclusion they wanted to the show was like, can we recreate consciousness? Is it possible to recreate consciousness?
And do we actually have free will?
Do we have free will? Yeah.
Exactly. Are we currently in this consciousness too? Is another like.
Well, if you watch this like show, actually, they really do it very well, because
great show.
It's awesome, because like when you're watching it, you're not sure really. Because we almost have the technology now too, where like there is robots out there that can like answer based on like you can ask a robot a question now, and it can give you an answer based on its own intelligence.
Well,
like,
do you know what the?
Yeah, well, there's AI actually.
Do you know
can I talk this, or do you go do yours first? I'll tell.
Do you know what the Turing test is?
No.
A test invented by a famous computer scientist, Alan Turing, who helped crack the Enigma code in World War II to help defeat, I think it was the Japanese. Anyway, the Turing test is it is a test for robots. If you pass the Turing test, okay, basically you get like an interface, and you're talking to either a machine or a robot. If you can tell it's a robot, it has failed the Turing test.
Oh, yeah.
If it passes, it has passed the Turing test. Now, if a robot or an AI was smart enough to pass the Turing test, would it do it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No. Some people think that it would fail it purposely to not let us know how smart it is.
That's like a weird. It's something to ponder with. Okay, I'm sorry. I think that's really fucking crazy. I got another like AI story.
I want to talk about one too after.
Okay, so this is my AI. Bringing it back to video games. Very recently, there was the original Mario Brothers. You know, the one from NES. They created the Mario in that game to have AI and be able to complete the game itself under its own choices. I
saw that.
Yes. It actually put itself into a situation that there was no outcome. Like, it was going to be infinite looped. Okay. And what the AI chose to do was kill itself.
Whoa.
Yep.
It kept trying to figure it out. It couldn't figure it out. And as soon as it realized there was nothing left, it just turned around and walked and fell in a hole.
Whoa.
That's really strange, right?
Yeah, that makes you think about a lot of shit.
It makes you think that the next evolution is robots.
Oh, yeah, totally. You know? Well, there's people who are already doing this. What's that guy's name? I can't remember his name, but he's put so much money into this.
I've heard theories. I'm going to jump to another theory. I've heard theories, too, where it's like the pyramids of Giza, because that's like still an unexplained... Like, a lot of it.
It's been explained. It's aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw that on A&E. I'm almost positive.
It is so interesting. Like, if you ever want to watch a documentary on... you can watch them. There's a million of them.
Anything by Graham Hancock.
Graham Hancock's a genius. Yeah, exactly. And he just... watch anything with him. Like, he has awesome documentaries on the pyramids of Giza. And he's been there for, writing about it for 20 years. He's kind of put his life work around it. And I think the fact that, we can't recreate and figure out today how to do exactly what they did back then and make it so astronomically correct, and the King's Room is...
The way that it's pointed towards stars and stuff is fucking insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are like, oh, we can recreate that. We have the technology. And it's like, no.
Like, on a computer you can do it, but to actually do it, I heard the dumbest theory, and it was literally a couple days ago.
Hold on. This is the theory that it's going to go to.
Okay.
Is that because this... We're thinking now, if there was a giant, if a meteor was to hit Earth, or if there was some ice age, or if there was some kind of...
Which has already happened several times.
Which has happened. it would wipe out pretty much our existence. Most of our stuff's made out of plastic and drywall, and there wouldn't be much remnants of what we have left. Like there'd be
Not my
few
fucking
things.
game collection.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
gonna last forever.
Gone.
Fuck off.
Right? On my PS4.
All my digital bits, all my
gone,
digital
all
games.
1,000 hours of Rust gone.
But what will remain and has proven to remain is something like the pyramids, right?
Yeah.
So the argument is that is this just a reset in life, and are they the future?
And this
us?
is what's left.
And they were trying to speak to us in some way and show us that they were like, were they trying to tell us something basically? Is there a way, because that's the only way you could really communicate with someone 2,000 years ago, is build these beautiful structures
and
astronomically correct. Is that
I've always thought of this because this is like a theory that I've always kind of had as younger, and it might be a real theory. It probably is somewhere, but is that the sun actually eats worlds, and we're constantly slowly moving towards the sun, and I'm sure it's a real theory somewhere.
I'm not sure who. It might be the Greek, but the sun was called the world eater at one point.
Yeah, like it literally, that's how it fuels itself, is it eats another world, and it just keeps doing this and keep doing this.
Work.
Right? Like that's what I was thinking, and that's why we see remnants of shit on like Mars and stuff that isn't like necessarily exactly what we'd expect it to be, but it kind of looks like something. And that was like a theory that I came up with. But the pyramid,
like the Nazi bases on Mars?
Yeah, like those ones. Yeah,
yeah.
But that's because there's Nazis.
Everyone knows about that.
The theory that I was going to talk about the pyramids that I just recently heard was, I can't remember the guy's name, but he swears that when Egyptians were around, there was also dinosaurs at the same time, and they got the dinosaur. They trained the dinosaurs to help them make the fucking pyramids. I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I bet you I can call. I gotta look that up after.
Oh, there's like thousands of like, this is wrong because of this.
It's probably Eric Dubé.
You might be right.
You know who that is? That is the Flat Earth guy. That is the guy behind the reemergence of the Flat Earth Society.
I just heard that they put up a fucking billboard on the interstate somewhere. I can't remember where it is. It's costing $1,500 a month about flat Earth, and it's just like this fucking big sign of like, you need to fuck, and it's close to the fucking some space station. I can't remember which space station it is, but it's fucking like right close. Like you guys are idiots. just back away. Like, I mean, personally, if you believe in flat Earth, I don't want you listening to me. I'm sorry if
subscribers just gone.
I'm not.
It's like, oh fuck,
every single one of them.
They're all flat earthers.
So, yeah, Elton John is why I listen to my.
Elton John, that's right. Okay, yeah.
We should just fuck that and just keep going on.
No, we should. No, yeah, we should. But that's like this whole concept of like what's kind of like brought forth of like the world's creation and where we're sitting at now is super interesting to me. It always kind of has been.
Dreaming,
there's so many different possibilities and theories, and like some of them are batshit crazy.
Oh yeah,
and they're fun to listen to. Some of them sort of make sense.
Well, that's just like you're gonna hang on to the ones that make sense to you, right? Like that's where you're really gonna look into things.
The one I really like this is not really how the world started, but this is just an alternate telling of things. Is what Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson talk about all the time. If you don't know those guys, listen to them on Joe Rogan. Yeah. They've done like 4 episodes.
They're a couple together.
Amazing. Yeah. The best fucking thing on the internet right now.
They are. Definitely. They're amazing to listen to for sure.
Like
aside from us.
So what's the theory about how the world was created? Because I'm ignorant to this at this point. I haven't listened to these podcasts.
The cool thing with these guys too is they've dated things properly. Like they both have their own.
They work with scientists.
They work with scientists. They
One
both
of them
have
is
like they're almost
scientist.
like they're both kind of like just a quick little like glimpse of it. They both are kind of trying to like redate through carbon dating and research. They're trying to like Randall Carson's a huge like meteorite guy or astrophysicist, and they're both trying to like say that the history books have it wrong almost, right? Like our dating that we've put a lot of the things in have been wrong, and the societies where we think they are actually at different dates.
I watched a video on that today, actually.
Which one?
Yeah.
And it was actually about time theory, about back in the Greek times when religion was like really predominant, that they made a mistake. They basically fucked up and forgot a day in the week. And that with that, we are almost about 3,000 years off from what
Which
almost
is
all the
lost.
things that we were expecting. Yeah, like just by doing that one small fuck up, and like they've literally forged documents in religious talisman that are completely incorrect. They just forged them, and
trying
they
to
do it
fix
by
their
like
error.
fix their error, and they've checked like the dates on these, like by doing like archaeological dating. Like figuring out exactly how old this paper is not what they say it is on the piece of paper and stuff. So they've done a lot of research on that, and like how that time is completely fucked up, and like we have to think about things differently because of it.
Every couple months, they're pushing back when they think the first humans were.
Yeah.
No, okay, back onto Graham Hancock. Okay, he started out as an author in the 90s. I believe in 93 is when he wrote Fingerprints of the Gods. Now, he went to Egypt. He spent a lot of time going to, like, Egypt and, like, Peru. All these, like, old civilizations. Like, the Aztecs, the Incas, the Mayans, the Egyptians. He goes to those places with scientists and Egyptologists like Robert Shaw. Is it Shaw or Shaw? Shaw. Yeah, well, he has a bunch of documentaries there. And he wrote this book. He's mostly just an author, but he's working with Randall Carlson, who studies ancient impacts of like meteors and shit. And one of their main things.
I don't think he can be discredited because he's just an author, though. Like,
No,
this dude's
definitely
literally.
not. No, I don't
researching,
think
like,
that's-
because a piece of paper isn't saying. Like,
We've
he's
been
an
through that was
archaeologist.
episode 1 for us.
It
You know,
was,
like
yes.
yeah, like paper doesn't make you smart.
This dude's clearly a genius and has been around it hands-on longer than anyone else has. But yeah, keep going.
His theories, and it's not just his theories, like there are lots of people behind this, but what he's trying to let people know about is there's a lot of evidence that things like we'll just talk about Egypt, the Pyramid of Giza, we have a certain date on that, and then the Sphinx, all these archaeologists think that they were made around the same date, which Graham Hancock is trying to show that is not correct. The Sphinx has, according to his data, 10,000 years of water erosion on it, which
Jeez.
there hasn't been water like that kind of rainfall in Egypt for like tens of thousands of years.
And it's like definitive. Like anyone can look at it now and be like, "Yeah, this is for sure."
It
water.
used to be made of like limestone or something, and then they put
Refaced it, right?
refaced it and put another face on it.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Look at our Golden Boy in Winnipeg. That shit gets refaced all the time. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't something else happen that way in the past, right?
He goes to places like, my brother was just in Machu Picchu, and one of the things in Machu Picchu is they have these intricate carvings, like massive blocks, and they're not just like how you would think of something carved, like you just carve into wood. They're like reversed, like embossed, you would think. So they're 3D imprints. So instead of carving in, it's carved from the outside, so you can like feel the structures and stuff, like
Okay.
it's coming out at you. And then that's what he goes to explain. So one of the things he talks about is he thinks that there might have been, well, what he proposes, there might have been civilizations older than we know about, smarter than what we know about, and they might have showed these people how to make these things.
Well, I've been hearing forever. Like I'm not saying this is like a truth or anything like that, but I've been hearing forever. Like Atlantis was like far beyond its expectations in technology and knowledge of our world and
He
stuff.
talks about Atlantis.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying Atlantis is. I'm not trying to dispute or
there's, like,
random-
back that up. But
random-
I've heard that we've had civilizations that are a lot more advanced than what we.
Like
We know
random. What's that compass called again? We've talked about this before. What is
Oh,
compass
that
called?
computer.
Yes, it's a computer that was made.
Oh,
like,
yeah, the one that they
3,000
found
years ago.
recently. actually.
The anathyrism mechanism.
Yeah.
Anathyrism.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that thing is like so above its time.
That is
so farther.
The world's oldest computer.
Yeah, that's
Now it's not like dial-up computer. It's basically a bunch of gears, but it's so perfectly aligned. Like it's like almost like a telescope where you can see the stars and planets, and it's aligned so perfectly that they would have had to calculate like tens of thousands of years of the sun and the earth and moving, and like all these Egyptian societies and the Aztecs, they at one time they were just very simple, and then just out of nowhere they're building these giant monuments, and they're directly aligned with with stars and solar systems that
we
think they have no idea about, and they're aware of the precession of the equinox, which is a cycle that happens every 10,000 years or something. Like they know crazy amounts of knowledge, and we're just like, no, they're fucking cave people.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was the dinosaurs still.
Yeah, the dinosaurs might have helped.
They were way smarter than we think they were, for sure.
Oh yeah, agreed. Like, and that's been documented on so many different things, and it's almost baffling when people like dismiss it as like a myth and story, and they go back to like it was made because of like whatever dumb fucking reason, like dinosaurs. Like it's a joke, but like whatever dumb reason they think it's gonna be, and it's fucking baffling that they just choose to ignore, like blissfully ignorant, you know, like really choosing themselves to be like, okay, I got facts in front of me, but fuck it, I'd rather go with this, which brings on that whole point of like sometimes it's just easier to not think about it.
Exactly. Cognitive bias.
Absolutely.
Or cognitive dissonance. On the latest episode of, not the latest, but the latest one where Joe Rogan has Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock on, it gets really heated because they bring on this skeptic guy. His whole thing is being a skeptic. So he tries to debate all these things. And, like, in my opinion, he just loses badly.
Question, skeptic of just everything? Or is it, like, specific
He's a professional skeptic.
Oh, fucking Jesus Christ.
He's, like, wrote about both of them, like, saying that they're basically all their theories are silly. And
He runs Skeptic Magazine. And he had this other guy who works with him write this article.
But it made for a really good debate, though. Like, it made for good enough that it was like you had a guy that was skeptic enough for them to propose their information again to him and, like, argue with him.
So he was, like, he had enough information to try and argue it, is what you're trying to say?
He tried to at first, but then once they started, like, bringing out full facts, and basically once Randall Carlson started talking, because he had, like, 1,000 slides. He's like, Jamie, bring up slide 782. Yeah. Like, this guy, at one point, he realized in the article he was slandering Graham Hancock, so he's like, we're going to remove this article. And then he realized that he basically doesn't have enough information to argue this against them. Mm-hmm. I will give the guy credit. I think his name was something Sherman.
He's pretty good about it all.
I will give him credit. He was very nice. Joe and Graham Hancock got very heated. They were debating.
If you're gonna watch this podcast, the only issue is like I don't want to say it was like biased, but it was like there was like three people versus one almost. Like there was this one skeptic on a show, and then there was like Graham, Randall, and Joe.
He had nobody backing him up.
Yeah, exactly. So they ended up getting a guest on the show, like one of his colleagues or whatever, one of his scientists.
The guy who actually wrote the article about Graham Hancock.
Yeah, helped defend him, but it was kind of like you didn't feel bad.
And then Joe got like too personal with it. I feel.
So this brings up a question for me, and we kind of touched base on it a little bit. I think it'd be a good idea just for us to go on this one. Is what do you think your theories are to how the world was created? I at least go there. Maybe we can bring in the next episode talking about how we think it's going to end. But I think this one, we can finish this off with the next is how you think it's created. I personally think that we're space dust. I think that something has hit this earth and it created a reaction that just grew the same way that like almost any type of like evolution.
Big bang.
Basically. And I agree with that. I think that we are nothing but parasites that have like infested this entire world, and it's just going to keep happening because we've never seen a decrease in population. We're only seeing increase in population almost all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I feel about it. I don't know if you guys agree with this specifically, but I honestly think that we were just like a fungus that hit the earth at some point, and we just happened to have the right fucking chemical balance to like continue growing.
See, the reason I agree with you too, and because they've had like clearly that there's animals and creatures that developed their habitats, right? Like there's a fish now that can digest plastic. Right, like it can properly digest plastic.
Oh, so we can just throw shit in the ocean now?
No, that's not what that means.
But
so we'll fix them. They'll learn.
For sure, though, it's because they've been exposed. There's one deformity, right? Like they've been exposed to enough plastic.
It's amazing how fast it happens.
But it's crazy how fast it happens. So to think that like evolution is impossible and adjusting to your circumstances is impossible, like that, like evolution's. I believe in evolution as well.
Me too. Well, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's like the kind of the theory I believe in too is that like if or one that you could argue with is that like if a tree drops, it's like I picture us in a game of World of Warcraft, right?
Of course,
whereas,
you fucking nerd.
Whereas like we're walking around and like if there's 0 people on that server,
there's nothing else around. The only thing that I see is there's laws to the universe, and you can't run into a tree, and you can't. But the map doesn't appear until you've seen the map. So does therefore mean the rest of the map doesn't exist?
Yes.
You only exist within your own world.
You only exist within your own world.
That's called object permanence. You develop it as a child when you're about 2.5, 3 years old. So that's why peekaboo works with children. If you cover their eyes or your eyes, they think you've disappeared entirely.
Peekaboo with me right now,
So
and I
like
would
if a tree,
fucking
so
giddy
the
as shit.
easiest way is like if a tree dropped in Africa. Like if a tree fell down in Africa, did the tree really drop down in to me?
Well, yeah, it's
Like,
it's that common.
World? It didn't, right?
Yeah, if a tree drops in the woods, is that famous philosophical question?
Yeah,
it's always been around,
which goes
right?
back to quantum physics because it didn't drop it when
observed.
you observed it, and it only dropped because you observed it.
That's where I was kind of getting at.
You mentioned evolution and like how you believe in evolution. I think the most recent that I can think of evolution that we can contest to is in the early part of the 19th century, we couldn't digest milk after 3 years old, and now we can drink it all the way until we die, pretty much. Yep. Our bodies grew into it, where we are now able to digest milk. Milk is supposed to be a very hard thing for us to take, and it's only supposed to be used for the beginning parts of your development and growth. Yep. And now we've gotten to the point where we can drink milk pretty much all the time and without any issue.
A lot of people, well, not a lot. Some people will argue that we shouldn't be drinking milk.
No, it doesn't mean that we can't. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm trying. That's the evolutionary trail that's hit it, and that's like one of the earliest points of evolution within our species. So clearly, within 100 years, that has changed. Mm-hmm. If you want to flip back even further, look at evolution just in a scientific point, where there was a point where we had cylinders that we played music off of that was made out of vinyl. Like, it was just a cylinder, and it sounded like shit. Look where we're at now, where we can just go on the fucking web.
That's the evolution of technology.
Yeah, technology.
Well,
it, right?
Basically, you can't debate evolution. If you do, shut the fuck up. Like,
I mean, for sure, but I mean, a lot of people would argue it too. Like, I know. Like my mom, for example, she's very Christian.
You
right?
can be Christian.
Like our Christian.
She's Christian.
Okay,
but she would say like that there wasn't no evolution into a human. She would tell you time to time again that God put us here as humans and that was it.
But that's
you can argue it. I know there's going to be
that's where the convenience of ignorance comes in, right? Like I feel comfortable with this, and it's whatever you feel comfortable with.
I will get into that in a minute. But the reason I say you cannot debate evolution,
I will set that on fire and roll it down the street for everybody to see.
I will be kind. I am very kind to religious people.
Yes.
Except the Jehovah's Witness. They keep coming to my door.
I truly believe in Apple and Steve Jobs.
The cult of Mac.
The cult of Mac. Okay, you would think that would be a McDonald's one.
Basically, because we have dogs, we can prove evolution. Dogs came from wolves. The reason dogs are not wolves anymore is because
we domesticated them.
Yeah, how we domesticated them is they came to us and we started giving them food, and then they started getting cuter. Their ears went back. They less aggressive. Their teeth got smaller. The ones that were aggressive toward us, we killed. So only the ones that liked us would mate, and that's how we have all these dogs. Mm-hmm. Not only that, we have an organ in our body that does nothing now.
They said they found a reason for it.
Yeah, it used to digest bone.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, and now it doesn't.
Well, it's because you're just not eating bone.
If we're perfect, if we were designed in God's image, why would we have this organ that does nothing?
Listen, that's a whole other podcast because that's
where we hit a religious.
I'll tell you that much. We can talk about religion for sure. We're gonna compare religion.
I won't talk about religion. I'll talk about creationism. Creationism is Christianity to times 100. These people believe there is a museum now. These people believe that humans and dinosaurs walk together.
Religion.
We've gone back to.
We were talking about Scientology. That's a valid religion. I can talk about creationism. All right.
Okay.
Well, these people believe that we walked hand in hand with dinosaurs.
Well, we did. That's how we got the pyramids.
That's why people believe. They believe the world is 6,000 years old.
I was thinking more like 5,400, but okay.
Yeah. All right. I concede.
So I guess Aaron's answer too is evolution is obviously.
I think
I don't say it's the final answer. There's a couple more things I want to go to.
An easy way to say is like we're not here debating religion. We're not here.
I will.
We're just speaking. Yeah,
Email me.
We can.
Email me and I will debate.
We can. If we will bring up religion on this podcast.
Yeah, there
at
will
some
be.
point.
This
There's
will
gonna
happen. There
no
will be
doubt.
debates on it, but
I will definitely argue for religion too. I think it has very good things.
there's merits behind it.
Faith
Absolutely.
is very powerful.
For sure.
Yeah, if you need that book to tell you how to live, if that helps you, I say
By
go
all
for
means.
it.
I
Yeah,
just think it's positive
whatever
to
it
have
is,
faith
I'm
in
not.
anything.
Yeah, well, no, I think it is too. Yeah, just any type of faith, doesn't matter what it is always a good thing to do. If you don't have something, I'm not particularly religious myself, but I choose to have faith in something. I don't know what it is. Like I can't be like
Flying
definitive
spaghetti
it's this
monster.
or this. Yeah, like that's just as good though. Like saying that you have faith in something does something
Faith
for
is
you,
a good-
regardless of what it
for
is.
sure.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had just because this is the last thing I'm going to talk about religion. We're going to bring up, but
I'm starting my own.
When I took the trip to Edmonton, my mom was, like I said, religious.
Yep.
And when we were taking the trip to Edmonton, I haven't really we were forced in a car for 16 hours, so we were going to talk. And
Hems for 18?
Religion obviously came up because she kept making comments like, "Oh, look at these trees that God put here," whatever it was.
Did that seriously come out?
Not like that. Not
Just
like
like
that, but-
nonchalant. Did you know God made trees?
Did you know God made
Oh,
trees?
really?
But yeah, it came up, and one of the things what she was talking about was the afterlife. She said because a lot of religious people live for the afterlife, right? Like the good behavior on earth and the things that you do on earth are going to be basically you're going to meet at heaven's gates at the end, and you're going to either be accepted or disallowed or whatever. A lot of people will argue, and this is a lot of our religion will say there is no hell now, and everyone has the opportunity, no matter what life they live, to have the opportunity to go to heaven. And whatever, and I said well, what's this afterlife? What is it like? What is the beauty of the afterlife? And she said, well, there's waterfalls, and you can live to be 1,000, and there's beautiful. And I was thinking and I told her I was like, well, there's waterfalls right now on Earth, and there's why would anyone? I was like, if I had the opportunity to live to 1,000, I would say no. There's no way.
Why would you want
I would
to?
ever want to live to 1,000 years old, and I think that a lot of what is expected, and this is the only thing I have to say about religion. Is the only thing that I think is. If you are living for an afterlife, I just think that there's so much beauty and there's so much fixing that can be done in this world right now, and you could find basically what you're waiting for in the afterworld in this world, and you can shape your mentality and you can shape the outcome of your life so that you're living in exactly where you want to live right now. And I thought when I heard that it was the thing she spoke of what's to be expected in the afterlife, I just thought a lot of it was you can really find this sanctuary here on Earth, and you don't really need to, take a gamble. In my eyes, right, take a gamble, because I'm not sure, right? I don't know if there is one or if there isn't one, right? I mean, I would argue there isn't one, but I don't know. And I just think that, when everything that you're saying or expecting out of this afterlife, I'm sure you can find some kind of this sanctuary on Earth and help save the people here instead of living for something else.
I think that's a awesome point to have, is doing something for the people around you more so than this. And if
make this place that afterlife,
exactly,
right? And 1,000 years of living is, I mean, could you imagine the stress and the buildup that we have after 100 years? You know what I mean? What toll of life can take on 100 years? Even if you're living a fulfilled life, even if you're living a life with money and you have no stresses in you, after 100 years, to think that you're at this point in evolution anyways, to think that we could even take on more than 100 years is absurd to me, because you would have a mental breakdown.
Well, I have
might be robots.
My plan is to not give a fuck after 55. Yeah. I'm gonna sit on my
Hawaiian
porch.
shirts and guts.
Oh, really? I'm planning on sitting on my porch with a shotgun in my underwear, protecting my box of light bulbs, so nobody else can fucking get my light bulbs. They are my light bulbs. Get the fuck off my lawn.
And if I see even a flutter of grass being moved by a child,
get the fuck out of here.
They're getting yelled at.
So you're talking about afterlife. There is one thing I want to bring up because I just recently watched something on it. There was a man, I can't remember his name, but he he died for 9 minutes. And he came back.
Like this.
Yeah, he died for 9 minutes and came back and wrote a book about his experience within that 9 minutes. I'm gonna
afterlife experience. Right?
Yeah, the name of the book is Coming Back from Tomorrow is the name of the book that he wrote on this. So if you get a chance, check it out. Basically, within what he said is after he hit that point where he was dead, clinically pronounced dead for that 9 minutes, he said that he felt himself over top of a dead body in a hospital, and he looked down and it looked like it was his. Then he saw somebody that he thinks was Jesus.
Keep going.
Yeah, he thinks was Jesus. Speaks with him, and he says, do you feel that you've loved everybody in your life as much as I love you? And he said that he responded with, I didn't know that this love could ever happen. So in that process, he takes this guy to different areas, like different things for him to kind of see. So he said one of the first things he observed was an area in the world where, like, as an example would be like an alcoholic always going, like, stuck on earth, always going to bars trying to find booze. Like, just trying to find it. Like, that's kind of what he's living in now. This is what he does. And then there was another point that he described as like a hell where there's people trying to scavenge for power, people trying to get sexual desires they couldn't get, like always trying to reach for the thing that they're never going to get. And then there was a third area that he went to that was almost like a library where everybody was like intelligent and artistic and have worked past whatever they were doing in life. And then finally there was a third area that felt like nothing but love all the way, and he asked to be part of that. And apparently this person said, you're not ready yet, and sent him back to his body. That was his experience, but it's way more in depth than that.
And there's a lot of outer body experiences that happen, like after death experiences. I think that what they call it. But those happen all the time. Like that's people always. The thing too is like they've heard like weird noises happening when heart stops, like a swoosh noise. And
Dr. Aaron, can you please diagnose the situation?
Sorry.
I'm like, this is all DMT.
Well,
it is okay.
There, as you were saying,
I'm just saying this is what he saw. This is what I heard.
There are several other people who have done this and basically written books about it. A lot of what you were explaining does sound like a DMT trip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it. First, it was disassociative feelings, seeing your body, and then you said something about meeting an entity who he thought was Jesus. Very, very typical things. And then you said, what was it? Saw
people trying to scrounge for beer or whatever it is on Earth.
Yeah, and that's showing you different things in your life, how you could change your life. You spoke to them. Usually they speak in a language that's visual that you can't necessarily understand. He said he wasn't ready. He said he saw the most love he's ever felt. These are all signs of DMT.
Yeah, but we've also kind of been through this. When you die, you get that chemical imbalance in your brain that's high in DMT, right?
We haven't proven that.
Okay.
But
there's a release of it. We know there's a release.
We know that it's produced in your lungs, and we know that it's produced in your pineal gland. Yeah. I don't know if there's scientific evidence that it has been released when you die yet, though.
You heard it right here. Aaron thinks there's scientific evidence.
But it does sound like a DMT trip. You're totally right. But
it does. I've heard a lot of other people go on to speak about things like that, and a lot of what they describe sounds like DMT.
Well, I wonder if those people, like, I'm sure it's happened, but it would be cool to hear that guy who's documented that now went on like a DMT trip.
And
to ayahuasca.
Is it the same?
Just to see what he would see again, if he would see the same thing.
I believe there are several books on this.
Yeah, like that would be that. I mean, how more like that's how you get a proper synopsis on
as close as you could anyway. As close to scientific fact that we can get is by recreating it with that. If you've been through it, this was like an early book. I think he's actually dead now. It's like this was from like the early 19th century or something, and wrote this book, and like it's still around for you to check out. But I just found it super interesting, and it's really weird that a lot of these things are like lining up. That in the past like week I've been watching these videos, and fucking somehow this conversation steered that direction. I think this might be one of our most organic conversations that didn't start the way that we wanted it to, and it just ended like it's getting to this point. Like we did not steer it in this direction, right? It just kind of got there.
There's actually I'm going to stay on the same topic quick. There's a show actually on Netflix that came out. It was called The OA.
Okay.
And it was basically, have you heard of this? And it's basically this guy would like kidnap people who had near-death experiences, and he would like he would take them in, like there was a bunch of them in the basement, and like he would collect these people, and he wanted to like figure out what happened after death. He wanted to know the answers. He wanted to know what happened. So what he would do is people who had these after-death experiences, he would take them to their basement, he would kill them again, just long enough to revive them. So he'd kill them, revive them, and then see what they have experienced. So these people would die every single day
Well, that's reasonable.
And they would just over and over until
Your
you could
body
put the
would
pieces together on like an answer of like what to expect in the afterworld, or what are they communicating to us? And
your body couldn't handle it. Like in reality, like I mean,
I
your
don't know
body
how many
couldn't
times
handle.
I'd
Yeah,
stop and go and,
It would-
yeah, for sure.
I'm sure there's a limit.
Yeah.
You know, like 2 times is what you get in a week. That's all you get.
Yeah, I don't know. Your
Better not
heart
stop.
would- to stop like that and go again. Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
questionable. But I mean, the idea of the show is pretty cool.
Oh, it's a great concept, but yeah, no, that's I just found it weird that everything that I've been kind of watching over this week, I like then that's another whole philosophical thing.
Law of attraction.
Was me watching this help steer this conversation that way? Like it came up, but I don't think so because like a lot of these topics came from your mouth, not so much my mouth.
This is shit I
Which
think
is
about
like-
all the time.
But
I hope everyone's high listening to this now.
This is just what goes
they
on
better
in my
be.
head.
If you haven't, rewind, give us another view.
You got to really open your
Smoke
mind up
a
for some
real
of the
big
theories
fucking
that we're
joint
talking about,
and
some
just
of the
go
things we're
for it.
talking about. You got to really be open-minded about it all for sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the problem too, though, is a lot of us are very stuck in our ways, and you know, if you're religious, then you're religious forever. If you're atheist, you're atheist forever. If you like, your views don't change
Steve
much.
Jobs.
Steve Jobs. But your views don't change much, and I think at least like I hope that we're getting across to everyone that we're very open-minded about these topics. We're not trying to be biased. We want people to look at the world maybe in a more open sense and stop being so conformed and thinking about the same things and reading the same textbooks that have wrong dating in them. You know, everything being the same every single day. I hope at least out of this conversation you've again open your mind a bit more, and I hope that's what we can do with this podcast is really kind of broaden your horizons and make you different, look at different sides of things instead of just face on. So this was a cool topic, I think, today to at least you know,
Oh yeah, definitely.
dip into some of this creative mind and imaginative mind and
Absolutely.
yeah.
This has been great. Well, if you didn't know, this has been Why the Fuck Not, where 3 guys sit around one table and discuss random topics for your amusement, and this hasn't been more random than it's ever been today. If you want to, you can find us on Podbean under WTFN Podcast. You can also find us on the YouTubes with WTFN Podcast there as well. Of course, you can find us on iTunes, same deal. And on Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/whythefucknot. Or WTFN podcast, and you can email us at whythefnot at podcast@gmail.com. We always enjoy your feedback, and it really makes a big difference to us when you reach out to us. So if you reach out to us, we will definitely reach out to you. Either way, I'm Ed.
DJ Easy Dick.
He did it, the madman. I'm Aaron.
And remember, dinosaurs built the pyramids.
Oh god damn it.